we brought 30 people to hear you tell that thing about seeing your grandmother naked. Why didn't you do that? And I was like, I don't even remember it. Tell me my joke, you know? So.
Yeah, as jobs go, this is a really good job.
This is a good job.
Yeah, I get this kind of happiness every single day. It's amazing.
They clap when you come to work.
Yes. Now, we know each other from stand-up. I haven't seen you in a long time, and you're doing so well. And your wife is from New Orleans, is that right?
Yeah, I think she grew up like on the lakefront, probably not far from where you grew up. And so it's been a weird week in our house.
Yeah, are they okay? Everybody, the
everybody
family
is alive. Everybody's got water in their house.
Yeah.
So we spent the last week, trying to find schools and apartments, and the people at the Home Depot are so sick of seeing me. I've actually got buddies that have loaded up. I mean, we've physically gone down and sent tractor trailers.
Have you really?
Yeah.
Good for you. Good for you.
So, no, it's the one that just went yesterday went to Bay St. Louis, in Mississippi, and we're just not seeing much of that on TV, and it's just I'm just devastated.
Do they know that their houses are filled with water? I mean, everything is, but especially the lakefront.
You know what? That's the sad thing was we had two groups that didn't know, and they thought their house was okay, and they just got back in a couple of days ago, and it's 3 feet of water in there, and they thought it was okay. So.
Yeah, and that's never going to be okay.
It's never going to be okay.
That toxic water
again.
that's been sitting in there, there's no way you can do anything with that.
No.
But anyway, everybody's safe.
Everybody's alive.
Good, good. I said when I introduced you, this is incredible to me. I know how successful you are, but you've got the best, biggest selling comedy artist of all time. I mean, that's incredible. Just to give you an idea, Steve Martin is #2, Eddie Murphy is #3, and you have sold more albums than the two of them combined. 13 million albums. And your blue collar comedy tour, well, you're making money. Wow. Well, good for you. And you don't live in LA, right? You live...
I lived here for 8 years. I had gotten... Well, when we knew each other, it was in the club days, you know. And so it had gotten to the point where I was headlining all the clubs and couldn't get on TV because nobody wants to see your tape when you're from Smyrna, Georgia. And so my wife said, if you don't go, we're never going to know. And so we were here for 8 years, and it was great. I mean, it was great for the career, but then we had kids, and all my family was there. So when the sitcom ended, I tried to act like I was sad. We looked like the opening credits to the Beverly Hillbillies in reverse, We like loaded up the truck and moved back to Georgia because I never got in this to do TV or movies. It was stand-up. I love stand-up, and I thought I can do that from Atlanta. And I live next door to my brother, who is like one of my best friends in the world, and I have 2 daughters, and he has 3 daughters, and I drive 5 girls to school every day. So
that's great. So you have a very normal life, and you get to do what you want to do.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I have a job that I still love, 20-something years into it, and I take my kids to school.
Now, do you still do stand-up? Now, you're still touring?
Yeah, it's, I always have for the last year doing the TV show. It's not even as much, so...
Because I love stand-up. I like what I do because I get to... They're coming to me now, which I've always wanted.
Right.
I used to go to them, and the traveling is what I hated. I love the stand-up part of it.
But let me ask you, because you have always been a great stand-up, and I have been so blessed because I've gotten to do a lot of different things, but if you ever put a gun in my head and said, pick one, it would be stand-up. And I don't know if you feel the same way. And you get weary of the traveling. But I love the art. I mean...
Yeah. No, it is. And are you constantly writing new material all the time, or what are you...
Golly, I've gotten to the point now that's like, I've forgotten more. I forget stuff that I've done. I start to write something, and I go, wait a minute, I did that like 10 years ago. And so...
But the audience doesn't care. I think the audience wants to see these favorite things that just like when a band goes,
You're right.
They want to hear that. Because I felt the same way when I was doing stand-up. I thought, oh, I can't do the deer story one more time. And then people are like, do the deer story, All right.
I mean, people, we brought 30 people to hear you tell that thing about seeing your grandmother naked. Why didn't you do that? And I was like, I don't even remember it. Tell me my joke, So.
I know, I do the same thing. I always like, what is that? How's that go?
And then you're
I
like...
become like Diana Ross, like holding the mic out. How's that go?
And then you're like, what was the punchline? And then you're like, that's pretty funny,
Yeah. I agree. That's hilarious. And so now you get to live in Atlanta. You take your kids to school and you get involved in their lives more. And
You know what? And in this business, I think you have to fight for your normalcy. And you see, when people aren't normal, it's not good. You know, when you're surrounded by people patting you on the back, going, "You're so great, you're so great." It's not good.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, once every 2 weeks, I open the car doors out in front of the school. I mean, I drive them every day. I chaperone the 7th grade trip to Washington, D.C. this year.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. And how was that? That seems chaotic, sort of.
It is. I mean, but having daughters, you know, they put me in charge of, there was always like one little group of guys that was interested in the girls already. And so I said, I'll take them because I know all the tricks. Because I had been in the 7th grade, I don't know if y'all had safety patrols. I went on the safety patrol trip to Washington, D.C., and I was the one that the chaperones had the problems with because in the gift shop, I discovered they sold whoopee cushions, and I had never seen one. And my mother had given me $20, and I spent the whole $20 buying whoopee cushions. And at 3 o'clock in the morning, there was a chaperone that had me by the neck going, "Go to bed, put the whoopee cushion down, go to bed." So I figured it was my turn to chaperone.
Now he understands why you bought the whoopee cushion.
Oh, yeah, it's great fun.
It's foreshadowing. All right, well, thanks so much. We're going to be back with more Jeff Foxworthy in a second. We're back with Jeff Foxworthy. So it's actually, you use it as a forum. Those aren't jokes, those are warnings.
It's my, but do you find this, I mean, I never could sit down and write. It's my life. If you go look at any album or anything or any special, it was like a snapshot of my life.
And what I love about you is that you're known, it's important to me, I like clean humor. I like stuff that it's just positive, clean humor.
You know, when I was starting out, there were people like Bill Cosby and all that would, you know, or Leno that would say, if you work clean, you always work. And that you couldn't, I always wanted to be on Johnny Carson, and they were like, you can't be dirty in the clubs and then turn around and be clean for TV. So, and to me, I think it's harder, but it's like doing the words, and it's funnier when it's clean sometimes.
And I also think when things like what's going on right now with Hurricane Katrina, people want to laugh and people need to laugh, and the stuff that you stay away from is mean-spirited, negative stuff, because we need happy, just joy right now. That's what we need. And what I love also, Wendy's is sponsoring, which is why I thought we should be involved with this. Wendy's is sponsoring a stand-up for good taste comedy challenge, like the Aspen Comedy Festival, and it's a nationwide search for comedians with clean routines, and the winner's going to be on our show. So if you go to our website and find out how you can get involved, and Wendy's, they have offered all of their employees, their 2,500 employees are out of work as a result of the hurricane, and they're paying them indefinitely until they set up again.
That's awesome. That's great. That's cool.
All right. Jeff, thanks for being here. It's great seeing you again.
Pleasure.
Congratulations. Kanye West is going to be here in a little bit, but when we come back, I'm going to update you on our hurricane relief efforts. Stay with us.